Today, Harvard the Crimson next to Yale, the Huskies, the favourites in lane 3. You've got to be competitive, you've got to lead this Washington crew.
Also right with them there, that crew from Harvard as well.
Now Washington starting to get 3.5, 4 seats over Harvard.
Your 2024 IIA champions in the men's varsity 8. The University of Washington holding off that amazing charge from Harvard for your silver medalists.
Okay, now take a break. You mean when do you mean start again in a few minutes, or?
Well, we really don't have a whole lot more, right?
No, I think we got it. We got it all. If it's okay, we're here tomorrow too. We may have some
If you want some follow up, fine. But if I'm done, then I can go.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Good.
Okay, great.
That's fine.
Yeah, great. I enjoyed that, guys.
Before we leave, could you just quickly introduce yourself and who you are?
Yeah.
You
Sure.
can do it.
From the crib, though.
So I didn't really know that you could go to Harvard for not just academics.
Jack Dorney, Shandon Boat Club in Cork in Ireland, he raced in the youth singles and he actually won it.
And then people from the Irish team at the time got recruited to go to Yale. That was the first time that I even considered going to America or going somewhere else apart from Ireland for college.
I used to scour the internet. There wasn't always loads of stuff about Harvard online, and I think that kind of like added to the mystique of Harvard.
The reigning world champions of Great Britain will be in lane number 3, who have an opportunity here to break their record, but they will come home with a gold medal.
I sent emails to all the universities, like blindly. And then my headmaster, a guy called Jesse Elzinger, at the time I was between Cal and Harvard and Yale, and so I get on a call with him, and he just he sold me the dream. He sold me Harvard. Jesse's the one that really was like, Harvard's the place to be. Harvard is where you want to be academically and rowing-wise.
My senior year of high school, tried to get recruited. I was probably a bit on the younger side of things, wasn't quite as developed as a few of the other boys in my class.
Lane number 5 is Australia in the yellow uniforms. The Americans have finished second, Australia third.
But I got in contact with the coaches, and when they found out I got in, they said they'd be happy to have me on the team, and it's been probably the most enjoyable things I've done in my life so far.
There's going to be disappointment, because you might not make the boat that you want to make, or you might not get the results that you want. But you want the overall experience to be worthwhile. You want the journey to be meaningful. So the foundation obviously begins in the fall, and through the break in the middle of the winter, it continues being built, but though not together.
When you get into the early sort of few weeks of December, things start to really cool down. We transition indoors onto the ergs, exams kick in, and a lot of guys head home for the Christmas holidays.
thing that I'm thinking about is that these two.
You can do 3 to 6 and 4 to 5 and vice versa.
Boys, let's get hands on the launches.
But it's a corner.
Now, listen up. We have to make sure we reacclimate to the water. Make sure that we're staying continuous through the end. So let's hope that it stays overcast and cold for the remainder of the trip. Okay. All right. So let's switch it off, break off into groups, and let's have a good 90 minutes out there on the water. And then we gather in Florida, as you said, and we start to lay the mileage down. And it's the cadences in the 20s. And you're just making sure that the concepts that we've emphasized all year are in place, and that they're getting a feel for things, and that there's a sense of competition amongst the crews and amongst themselves for the seats and between the boats. Get ready by fours full length rowing.
I think the training is, we're really making strides on the training front. Just identifying the right zones to be in at the right time of year. Knowing when to accumulate a lot of volume and when to start to sprinkle in the intensity at the right time and the right type of intensity. So I think that helps everyone step on physiologically.
Take your time. We'll go single strokes and then every other stroke, and then by thirds. Then we'll switch it up again and have the stern pairs hold on to you. Okay? I want you to exaggerate the shape. Tyler, hands lower. Yeah, shaping is you have to go row in the rough water. If you don't train in rough water, race in rough water, then it's possible that you'll have trouble. So to adjust for it, you have to have the hands low enough on the recovery over the knees so that the blade is above the conditions. And when you shape is so that you can work hard in rough water, that the water doesn't take your ability to take a powerful stroke away from you. We're always working on stamina, we're working on how we row, and at the moment we're working on reintroducing the idea of how to move with the boat, how to move with your teammates, getting back into it after a break of 6 weeks. The students have been training because they do that on their own. They have their own contests, and we've gathered down here, as we have since the early 2000s. Listen up now, listen up. It's like yesterday, on the way back, we'll stop at the island, before we come left. And we'll do some 20s on the way in. We want to make sure that when the cadence comes up and the hull speed comes up, that it stays rhythmical. Make sure that you get set by quarter. Make sure that you feel the boat returning under you. Make sure the acceleration is good enough on the drive that you can feel the boat coming back under you. Get set by the quarter. Okay? All right, Tree.
Let's go rowing.
Yeah!
Coming back from break, particularly as someone who lives in Australia, Boston is miserable. It's cold, it's windy, you can't row on the water, the Charles is totally frozen over. When you're in Boston for the month of January, February and the start of March, it is training on ergs, training on RP3s, training on bikes. It's just getting as fit as you can indoors so that when you're back out on the water later in the spring, you're fit enough to make technical changes and make boats go fast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
A pretty standard mileage session we do here at Harvard is just 3 by 30 minutes on the erg, only really having 1 or 2 minutes break in between. So you're staying in zone for a full 90 minutes, getting good aerobic benefit, and sitting at speeds that you know you can hold. Obviously, that's quite taxing late into the winter when you've done that workout 10 or 12 times, but you get used to it, you adapt, you end up going a bit quicker, your heart rate gets a bit lower, and ultimately you're in flying form come March.
Get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So as I addressed with the team, I said, once we had the boats set up, or based on the seat racing results, I said, look, as a team, you have to get used to the idea that oarsmen are going to be moving from seat to seat, and that in this team, in this current level of depth, there are people in the third boat who are capable of making the first boat.
We have athletes all through the program who are world champions. And I think a lot of people forget that sometimes. Like, for example, the bow pair of the 3V this year have silver in the pair at under 23s.
And when you have depth like that, a slight variation in someone's performance from piece to piece plays a larger role.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So you do the seat racing to establish a ladder, and there is an order of sorts that emerges. You do the seat racing in 4s, and then once the 4s are done, then you put them into 8s, and then you see how the 8s play out. And the seat races are the highest possible intensity. It's not the highest possible technical rowing, it's not the highest possible rhythmical rowing, but it is some of the most intense.
When there's a switch, everyone's standard just goes up because each individual is reminded that your seat's not safe. You're not just like gonna sit here and be given a varsity seat just for showing up every day. And it can definitely have effects in the team, you know, because one person moving down and one person moving up, like everyone has friends and everyone has opinions, but at the end of the day, you know, Charley wanted to have the fastest boat in the water, and I'm pretty sure everyone understands that. And it's a sport that's full of emotion. You train with each other every day. Most of the people on the team live together, and they have for the last 3, 2, or 1 years. You know, it's going to be brutal and it's going to be tough. But when a big call comes for selection, especially for the varsity, I think, you know, I just want to make sure we keep the selection process at a high standard moving forward.
Well, you know, obviously people want to win, and so there are going to be 6 boats, all of whom want to win. And it's very difficult to do because there are 6 boats, that is 60 or 70 people competing within a few feet of each other with coxswains in the back screaming, people cheering from the shore. So it's a very intense experience.
We're back up to the start for the Harvard and Washington men, the Bolles Cup.
you can really see the differences between these two programs and the way that they're coached. You know, the Washington crew, again, is just so physical and dynamic, whereas the Harvard crew is just a little bit more disciplined and relaxed in their stroke, I would say. Well, I just let out a big sigh of relief because we're coming into a little bit calmer water now. That overhead picture really just showed how much texture there was to the water.
Coming down to the last couple strokes, there's Washington crossing the line just ahead of Harvard. Harvard and Washington kind of head-to-head. Great race between those two. Expect to see more of the same tomorrow when you add in Yale, Brown, and Northeastern to the mix. But good solid push here by Washington.
But it's also important not to construct excuses before you go race, because every crew, every team, every effort, there's a set of things that could go wrong or that haven't gone well in an ideal sense, but you persist nonetheless.
Locked in, and we do have a start. Here we go. Harvard, Washington, Brown in the middle, Yale and Northeastern. 5 boats across. Great early season racing opportunity.
Look at this move that we're
Brown.
seeing from Brown. Just as we've said that they've crept up about half of boat length overlap now on Harvard. Hopefully Harvard is noticing this move, because as I'm speaking, Brown is just making an impact stroke after stroke here in the Brown boat.
Yeah, so we got a good view of Brown.
Taking the rate up even another beat here as we come up to the line. It is going to be good for just about a half a length margin victory for Washington, but too close to call between Brown and Harvard. We'll wait for the finish officially for that one. Yale not able to match the pace.
And you push through it and you find answers to questions. And so Washington beat us in twice. And in the second day, Brown rode through us in the last 700 meters.
This race is the first race of the racing seasons. Obviously, we gave them our shirts on Friday night. We gave Brown our shirts on Saturday and Washington our shirts again on Saturday. And so in the space of 12 hours, we'd lost 3 shirts. And that was particularly devastating to start off the racing season.
I thought that even though it's never any fun to lose races, I thought that oarsmen responded well and appropriately by, you know, first of all, recognizing that they could do it, that they can be the fastest crew, and what to address and how to get about addressing it, and to take the matter of weeks and months to get it right.
On race day, it's very rare that you get a particularly good or bad row. Your row is often a result of the training and the work and the technical state that the crew is in. And so all we need to do is take this as given, look at what we can do to move on from this. And I think it is a good learning experience that keeps the fire in the belly.
So when as you're developing a crew and developing a group of individuals, I think it's really important when you're talking to them to identify for them what their strengths are and make sure they really manage it. Because I think these, Harvard students especially are very good at like self-analysis and identifying what they, their weakness and what they want to work on. We've started to use the Peach system a lot, and I think that that's really helped a lot of guys make more progress quicker.
I think a huge thing that helps with rowing in this new age is telemetry. So if you've ever seen the boats, sometimes you'll see these wires and screens hanging off the riggers, and they can actually tell you your power output, but also, and more importantly, your application of that power output. So it's almost like rowing on one of the ergs or the RP3s. You get a power curve, you get your arc at the front and the back, and I think that can really help improve a lot of rowers who lack that kind of just awareness of how they're applying that power. The telemetry is something, it's almost like a cheat code for some people.
They embraced what they could learn, what the data could reveal. And it has become an important part of what we do. There's just a lot of mystery to rowing that makes it intriguing. And the Peach helps, but it's not a cure-all.
Ready, up.
So I'm going to mix it up on you a bit here. I'm going to mix it up on you a bit. We're going to start with the feet out, and your feet are connected to the plate like sticky paper. Okay. The way to deal with the uncertainty of outdoor sports is to be committed through the entire year. You have a great experience day in and day out. You enjoy racing, developing yourself, finding out what you're capable of, being challenged. And then on the day, you go do your best. And if there's some set of circumstances that you can't control, that's tough. But you're going to go out and do your best anyway. Acceleration has to be aggressive. It is not pretty, okay? It is big man rowing. It is driving. Are you making a difference? Because if we're not making a difference, then we're f***ed. I want to go fast. I want you to get after it tomorrow.
This is a Harvard team that's found some good success this season. Third place at the Sarasota Invitational. Some good wins at Cornell in the Robinson Cup.
Okay, I've been looking forward to this since Benderson. So put them in and we're going to make it take off.
And then a very strong performance in the Varsity 8 at Princeton.
Ready for the imminent start here for the men's first Varsity 8, the Battle of the Compton Cup. Princeton is in lane 2. Harvard in lane 3.
Harvard got a little bit of traction here. You see Ben Scott up there in the stroke seat. Australian's done a really nice job for Charley and these guys over the last few years.
Unofficially, it'll be Harvard 5:27, Princeton 5:31. Harvard able to retake the Compton Cup for the first time in a couple years. And that's how it's going to end, Joe. It's going to be Harvard with a sweep over Princeton.
So this has been a Harvard boat that has just been on an absolute tear at Cornell in the Robinson Cup, and then very strong performance in the Varsity 8 at Princeton in the Compton Cup. So victories against the Big Red and the Tigers, and then sweeping Navy and Penn in the 1V, 2V, 3V, and 4V meets. It's been a really good couple of seasons for Harvard, and it's in big part because of that coaching staff. If you're head coach Charley Butt for Harvard, you've got to be happy with the way all of your teams have performed. And even in saying that, there's still some performance to be done for Harvard, but just this entire season. And here we go in the Varsity 8 race. As it stands right now, Harvard slowly but surely starting to build up a slight advantage, but slowly the Crimson getting out to about a half boat lead now. And it will be Harvard holding on to victory here against Northeastern. They will recapture the Smith Cup once again and seal victory here against the Huskies. But you can see just how demanding of a race that was.
After the Washington race in Sarasota, it was really game on. We had duels against Cornell, Princeton, Northeastern, Pennsylvania, and Navy, and didn't lose a single one of them. Kept training through it, didn't taper, pushed ourselves harder in training, and just made sure that we weren't going to go down a length like that at any point in the future. Ultimately though, while those duels are good to win, the three big ones are coming at the end of the season, which is the sprints, the IRAs, and Harvard-Yale, and they're the ones that people remember each year. So that's what we really have our eye towards. The duels were definitely a step on from our work in Sarasota, but the job is definitely not finished at this point.
The race is well underway, and it's a good start from Yale.
Dartmouth, Pennsylvania, and Harvard pretty much together. Yale still has the better part of a half a boat length, but Harvard and Dartmouth are racing each other and putting the pressure on Yale for sure. But now here comes Harvard, and Harvard's going to make their run in the last 500, and they're doing a really good job of it. Yale now answering Harvard's challenge at 41 strokes a minute.
And Yale holding on to that lead. Yale holding it, Harvard moving. We dare not call it as they come through the line. We'll have official results in a moment.
That was an impressive fourth varsity 8 grand final.
We'll see if it was enough from Harvard in those closing stages. And it's a start in the third varsity 8 grand final. Princeton, Harvard, Penn, Dartmouth, Northeastern. You take a look at these starting sequences. They'll now be in their high strokes, of course, getting the boat moving as quickly as possible, 0 to as fast as they can.
Princeton needs to be sure that Harvard doesn't get too comfortable at their base cadence, because you can't afford to let them get a breath. You've got to keep the pressure on.
Open water finish for Harvard as they come through to take the gold in the third varsity 8.
Princeton in second. Yale claims third, just ahead of Dartmouth.
But moving on to the grand final now, here we are. Talked a lot about Syracuse in that middle lane already, but they are joined by a few other crews in this race. In lane 1, it's Harvard. Lane 2, Princeton. Lane 3, Syracuse. Lane 4, Yale. Lane 5, Pennsylvania. And in lane 6, Dartmouth. It's Harvard. Your early leaders really wrapped it up early for themselves in that gold medal position. Chased hard by Princeton. Princeton, great effort from them.
And they're underway. Here they go, first few strokes being taken. I think it's going to be a close one to call in terms of this first few strokes, and I think it's going to be, I couldn't call it.
The crews from Harvard, Princeton, and Yale, just tiny margins for those three crews. It does look like, I might even give that to Yale as we come across the 1K by just a bow ball between themselves and Harvard. And this is a final of dreams, isn't it? A battle across all 6 lanes with super contact between lanes 1 all the way over to lane 6, but wow, Harvard have absolutely dealt a death blow in that last 250 meters. They've extended themselves to a huge margin over the rest of the field. It's going to be so close all the way to the line. Harvard, your Eastern Sprints champions.
What a second half of that race. Harvard really kicked it on there. You can see them in the crew. They are really excited about that. They're pumping the water.
Somehow, Harvard snuck in this massive move that it escaped the camera work. We went away, we looked back, and they were gone. They had just slammed the door on the field, came away, executed it perfectly. Eastern Sprints champions in 2025. Lots of celebration from your Harvard crew. Hello and welcome to day 1 of the 2025 Intercollegiate Rowing Association National Championship Regatta. We are coming to you from the Cooper River Yacht Club on the south shore of the Cooper River in Pennsauken, New Jersey, just about 5 miles outside of Philadelphia.
With Oregon State in lane 1, Syracuse in lane 2, Harvard in lane 3, Yale in lane 4, Cornell in lane 5, and UC San Diego in lane 6.
But I think looking at these crews as they get underway, we should expect Yale to get out really quick. Really fast starting crew from Yale, but going right along with them will be this crew from Harvard, who I think we probably make the favorites based on their performance that we saw at the EARCs a few weeks ago. Now they're able just to cruise along with their buddies from Yale up to the line here, knowing that qualification is done. And there you go, it's down to just a couple seats as we come through those red buoys.
And concluding
racing for today. That brings to a close day one of the 2025 IRA National Championships. We've had a fantastic day of racing, some fantastic heats in the Varsity 8s in the morning, and some really splendid racing in both the time trials and the semi-final.
So yeah, the tailwind does make things more challenging, and the tailwind is also an equalizer. So when you have boats lining up, one boat might be much stronger than the other, but in a tailwind, a boat can punch above its weight with a good connection, good acceleration, and good unity of movement. And I think some of that was going on with the IRA.
Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Intercollegiate Rowing Association National Championships. We are coming to you from the shores of Cooper River, and we did have to deal with some draining of the river because of potential flooding conditions yesterday with some tough weather overnight. Luckily that weather didn't impact our racing, but...
So semi-final day of the IRAs, we have some pretty challenging conditions. We wake up in the morning, it's quite windy. It's a very strong tailwind, but the water's quite choppy. There's a lot of white water out on the course. And that means a lot can happen. In a tailwind, crews are often a lot closer margin-wise. It's unlikely that you get the blowouts that you might get in a headwind when race times are a lot slower. It also means that through the middle of the racetrack, there's a lot of bumpy water. Your blade can clip the water a fair bit. Your hands can get stuck on your legs, and you need to be careful that you're getting your catches in clean and your blade out of the water at the finish, extracted nice and clean too, so that you don't catch a crab or ruin the rhythm of the boat.
And we're now back on the start line for the first AB semi-final of the Varsity 8s, and I think we're going to see another upset. Are we going to see another upset today? My gut feeling is yes, actually.
You know, you take a look at these draws from yesterday and you're just, my jaw hit the floor. I think either of these semis could just as well be a grand final.
That's absolutely correct.
We start the race, Cal put in a really strong 20-30 strokes. They're flying out the blocks. We get away probably not as quick, but staying clean.
Harvard came in as the East Coast favourites here, having had a fantastic performance, a clean-up performance almost at the Eastern Sprints just a couple of weeks ago.
And then we hit the sort of first 500 metres, and that's when our rhythm really starts to kick in. And I think this middle K, we just really delivered on our rhythm and kept it together in the challenging water.
I think Harvard are closing the gap. We saw a slightly larger deficit earlier, and I think Harvard is just starting to chase it down. It must be a fantastic experience in that Harvard crew to just be getting close to people who came in such strong favourites. And it looks like with every stroke they're slowly closing. As you say, at this level of competition, I expect to see the races go down to the line, but this is a good race to have for that first and second position early on. I think Harvard are going to draw level in the next few hundred metres.
It looks like they're just about to do it.
They are. This is fantastic. As they come past us now, they're just crossing in front of the commentary box, and it is babble for babble. I couldn't put a needle between them.
Oh gosh.
This is
And Syracuse putting up a good battle too. It's just so tough because this exciting race in the middle of the course between these two titans, Harvard and Cal, is just captivating.
So we're at the
our
1K
attention,
and I'm thinking, wow, like we could win this race. And I don't think that's something that people necessarily believed a few weeks prior. Like, these are guys that have won the IRA. They're an incredibly fast crew, an incredibly intimidating one. And we're sitting here at halfway, half a length up, and like, wow, we could win it. So we stay internal, stay in our rhythm. The next 500 meters are just more of the same, and then it happens.
Oh, and there's been a disaster.
Oh no, California's caught a huge crab. It's a boat-stopping crab for California. They're going to need to get things up and running if they're going to stay in contention for the A final, because here comes Princeton.
It's an absolute
moving
disaster.
up through California. Oh my goodness, this is a huge turnaround.
Princeton have sniffed blood. They're coming through. That could see California the favourites in the B final tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, we need a picture of that as soon as we can. Harvard will take that first place position, capitalizing.
That was an amazing race.
Still has his oar just the wrong way.
Absolute disaster.
Heartbreak for the California crew
coming in here.
Oh, you can see the heartbreak. Oh, that my heart goes out to him. That is such a tough one. And you know, this is the roll of the dice that we have when the conditions are challenging like this, and you're putting everything out there. You're being pushed to the line by a crew as classy as Harvard. Gosh, that's a quick time. 24, just sniffing that.
It's not fair often, but it's not intended to be fair, because you don't get fair conditions in large bodies of water when the wind is blowing. And you count your lucky stars when it is fair, but You know, the expectations are that this is what I've got, and I'm going to make the most of it.
All right, one last shot of the beautiful skyline of the city of Philadelphia off in the distance from our setting here at the Cooper River, where we're looking toward the grand final of the men's varsity eights.
We have Brown in lane 1, Syracuse in lane 2, Washington is in lane 3, Harvard in lane 4, Dartmouth in lane 5, and Princeton in lane 6. But I'm not going to count anyone out of this race.
No, we certainly can't. I mean, I think looking back on how things have progressed over the program this weekend, we've learned once again in our sport that anything can happen at any time, including to a top-seeded crew. So, of course, we're not seeing our top-seeded program, California, featuring in this grand final. We have a start for our last race of the program at the 2025 IRA. It's the men's varsity 8, Brown, Syracuse, Washington, Harvard, Dartmouth, and Princeton. Yeah, again, I think it's going to be all about how much advantage you can put out there for yourself in these early strokes, because the conditions are a little bit tricky today, even though they are incredibly fast. This is going to be the most optimal place on the track in order to get those seats on your competitors. And it's going to be more and more choppy with every single stroke that you take. So this is the time to go if you have the ability to do it. Right now, Washington really going pretty evenly with the crew from Harvard. Probably not a surprise to see these two programs going toe to toe. It's been a few months since we've seen these programs match up. We saw them, of course, come together in Sarasota very early on. Again, it seems like ages ago at this stage, way back in March, that they faced off then, and it was awfully close then too. Washington, of course, coming away with the win on that occasion. But does Harvard have something in the back pocket to turn around the margin here at the IRA?
Lanes 3 and 4 are inseparable. Harvard and Washington level with one another.
Yep, I think Washington is going to come up against a pretty big challenge as we come up to the middle of the race course. Harvard, of course, known now to have a very strong move that they are able to launch here at the halfway point, and we're looking at manifesting right now as Harvard is just starting to draw level and bringing right along with them this crew from Dartmouth, who have also been very strong in the second half. Well, Washington has been a high-rating crew all season. They're just very aggressive, very athletic, keep the intensity very high, and really just keep it kind of at one speed all the way down the track. Harvard always able to find another gear as they come into that second half of the race. Will it be enough here? This crew from Harvard has just been so artful in the way that they're coached. They row so beautifully, very technically good, but I think, can they find a little bit of art just to add to the science in order to find that next level to get through this Washington crew in the late stages?
It looks like Washington is taking even more off of Harvard. Washington now has 5 seats, and they continue to have the momentum. Harvard is going to have to find something here.
But Washington looking very dominant as we're coming into the closing meters, Dave. I think they may have done enough now unless Harvard really find a massive turn of speed inside these red buoys. Yep, and here comes Princeton as well, coming right along with Dartmouth. It's just a seat or two deficit for the Tigers on the big green. Dartmouth really charging hard and challenging Harvard for that silver medal. I think it might just push them back on Washington. I think Brown is out of the conversation at this point, but these 4 crews, Princeton, Dartmouth, Harvard, and Washington, all charging for the medals. I think it might just be a repeat for Washington as we come up to the line. Will they defend?
Washington, Harvard, Dartmouth, then comes Princeton in 4th, Brown in 5th.
So we will be moving on to medals and awards for the rest of the afternoon program. So I think that means it's going to be goodbye from me and Dave, Megan Kalmo, and Dave Vogel up at Yacht Club here at the 2025 IRA here at the Cooper River, Pennsylvania.
It's a tough turnaround from an IRAs like this to Harvard-Yale happening just 6 days later. So we got back to Red Top Sunday night after racing the grand final Sunday morning. and Harvard-Yale for the 4V is Friday night, this Friday. So that's a sort of 5-day turnaround, and then the 1V through 3V race on Saturday. Obviously, coming so close to winning the IRA and ultimately not, you really have to pick yourself up again quite quickly, because there's no time to mope around. Yale want to win this one, so do we. And if we're not laser focused this week, it's a 4-mile race, a lot can happen, and Yale have a real opportunity to still put something together after the IRA.
Okay, so when you hold your forearms and elbows up, they move away more readily, okay? Now, if you look across the two boats, this is where you have the most obvious advantage on Yale, okay? Thank you.
To us, to the alumni, to the coaching staff, this is the last race of the season, and this is the most important one. It's the oldest intercollegiate athletic event, not just rowing event. So it's a very historic race. It's one that carries a lot of meaning to all the guys, and it's one that you really remember decades down the line.
Looks like the oarsmen are settling in. So I couldn't be prouder or more privileged to stand here to welcome everybody to the HUBC graduation exercises of 2025. So these are our seniors, and without a strong senior class, the success of the team it's essential that they be compelling as individuals, that they be compelling as athletes, as teammates. So on that note, and the fact that we all go out there on that river in 2 days, it's a large river where anything can happen, and there's a ton of uncertainty. But the only certainty out there is that the HUBC qualities of stubbornness and determination and grit, okay, are what will carry the day for our crews. And I feel very certain that we will embody all of those qualities for the entire distance. In a race, you have to be stubborn and to make certain that you are matching at least what the man in the next boat is doing. And it's from that stubbornness and persistence and determination that you can keep going. And a good race gets down to single strokes. Like this is the stroke I'm on, and this is the best I'm gonna do. And if that's part of 20 minutes, then so be it.
And we have a star. Yeah, Harvard's at 37 still, so they might be overrating Yale slightly, and they are pulling out. We're coming through the half-mile mark here at around 2 minutes. Yale's holding strong, but they're running out of room. We probably have 10 strokes to go, but this is the time to just let everything go and get across the finish line.
To 9:24.89, about a 7-second win for Harvard.
Well rowed by both crews, very strong looking. So congratulations to Harvard on a great win. That's an undefeated season for them.
People who see it up close may think it's brutal and whatnot, but it's a great test of endurance, it's a great test of persistence, it's a great test of stubbornness, and you have to make it, you have to do absolutely everything you can to make it your day.
Always a very special occasion. This is a very special place for Harvard and Yale rowers, and so to come back every year and do this is great. But I just think we're about to see some cracking racing. Both were clean. Yale may have gotten away a little bit stronger in the first through strokes. Harvard looks really strong. They're all together, very powerful on the drive, especially I'm looking at sort of the middle four, that engine room. They are throwing down. Sometimes it's hard to come back after a national championship and do another race, but from the day they walk into Newell Boathouse, they know this is central to their mission. So
welcome back to a rainy Thames River here in New London, Connecticut. I'm Andy Card, and to my right is Skip McDaniel, and we're here to bring you the 3-mile race for the JV. These two crews from Harvard and Yale are competing for the F. Valentine Chapel Trophy.
Harvard's rhythm, I think, is coming through here.
For the 2025 F. Valentine Chapel Trophy, the winner is Harvard. So Harvard has won all 3 races to this point. They won the Snyder Cup last night, the New London Cup over the 2-mile distance, and now the F. Valentine Chapel Trophy over the 3-mile distance. That leaves us with only the 4-miler left.
From both, maybe a little bit sharper from Harvard. Harvard perhaps a little smoother, as we saw in the JV. As we approach the 1.5 mile mark, this is going to be a key part of this race. So Harvard is approaching the rock, which is, painted crimson based on some past success. Looking as good now as they did at the start of the race. A true class act of a crew. One of the very best in a long time at Harvard. A valiant effort, a really courageous race from Yale, considering what they were up against in terms of Harvard class and the weather that we had here today. So, well rowed to both crews. Big congrats to Harvard and Charley Budd and his coaching crew.
start of the 1968 rowing season, he was recognized as America's leading crew coach.
Basically, I'm thinking in terms of how do I get these fellows to row really well and to appreciate what good rowing really is. How can I get them to really develop a sensitivity to the oars, the equipment that they're using, and to the motions that they're trying to follow. When you're rowing well,
the college oarsmen certainly train all of the school year from September to June, and a number of them train on their own in the summer in various programs, but for the most part they're on their own during the summers. However, the training during the school year is pretty rigorous. They work hard, at least once a day.
They quickly find out that no matter how much it hurts, you can keep doing it. And we hope that that'll carry over in their racing, that they realize when they're racing really hard that the body's going to say, no, I don't want to do this. But they find out that they can make the body keep doing it.
You have to have a pretty high level of coordination to learn the rowing skill itself. It's not a natural motion. And some people pick it up much better than others, just like some people hit a baseball better than others. So there's a skill level involved. There is a high level.
That is probably, like, I still hear people say in a tone reminiscent of Harry's voice, "Great day," that sort of thing. And generations of people will all chuckle and laugh. But it is a part of so many people's lives now that they're going to make it a great day. And that was something that was really striking for me when I got the job here. Got to work with Harry, was how persistence and stubbornness and the idea of making it a great day have play a huge role in rowing, but a greater role in life. So thank you so much for following us, and I'm not surprised the oarsmen performed at the level they did, and I'm delighted for them. It's something they can remember for the rest of their lives.